Hola, ¿qué tal? Los saluda su amigo José Ramirez, campeón de la CMB y de la OMB. Estamos celebrando el mes de la herencia hispana y pues para traerles bonitos recuerdos les quiero decir que una pelea que me motivó mucho a mí y a mucha gente mexicana, a mucha gente hispana en el boxeo fue la de Pacquiao contra Marquez en la cuarta vez que se enfrentaron, donde Marquez noqueó a Pacquiao. También, por muchos que no lo saben, esa noche yo debuté como profesional, ganando mi primera pelea vía knockout en el primer round. Y pues ahí empezó mi carrera como profesional y pues fue una pelea que me motivó a mí y que nunca se me va a olvidar. Me trajo mucha alegría a mí, a mucha gente mexicana, a mucha gente hispana. Saludos y Diosito me los bendiga a toda la gente latina, hispana. Cuídense mucho.
And as you take a look at the tail of the tape, the big difference is the age difference, 33 to 39 in favor of Manny Pacquiao. Other than that, not a lot, only a half-inch difference in height, a little bit of a weight advantage for Manny Pacquiao, and the reach is exactly the same. Final instructions.
High on both sides. Anything going up here be considered a clean punch. Now, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch them up. Buenas suerte.
10-point must-scoring system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rules. The fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop a fight. The unified rules of boxing by the Association of Boxing Commissioners. Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan along with Jaime Mota and Christina Poncha. Glad that you can be with us. Our principal's in there, Manny Pacquiao. And 5-time world champ, Juan Manuel Marquez in 3 different weight divisions. Here we go. Manny starts out fast, throwing the first shots of the fight. He said he'd stay fast, he'd get fast, and remain that way throughout the fight. And it looks like that's what he wants to do. Marquez said, on the other hand, he's going to feel my power tonight before it's over. We'll see how it goes.
Marquez has definitely bulked up, comes in at 143 pounds, the heaviest he's ever been, but he says he feels good. He feels like he still maintains some speed, and that's what he tried to do with his new physical trainer. And if he's able to stay with Manny Pacquiao throughout this fight, speed-wise, then I think he's got a good shot at pulling this off. If not, it's going to be a long night.
Well, we'll see. Trained, you know, with a scientist and strength coach, Angel Hernandez, who was with Balco, so there's a lot of talk about that. And of course, that was involved with the steroid era. But he's totally clean. He's given blood, given urine, and he is big, and he is strong. But Pacquiao is so quick, and everybody knows his strength. Remember, Pacquiao's knocked him down 3 times in the first fight and 1 time in the 3rd round of the 2nd fight. Marquez has never been able to execute that, but he's vowed that he will. Manny with the jab.
So far, it's been Manny who's landed the cleaner shots. He hasn't been able to, land one to definitely get Marquez's attention, but he's landed 2 or 3 solid punches.
Marquez very cut around the midsection, though he looks a lot thicker than he usually does, but obviously he's been in a lot of sit-ups. Manny Pacquiao in great shape both physically and emotionally for this fight. Freddie Rogers said that holding the pads from his hands have felt heavier than at any time. So both guys are strong. So far, Marquez is missing more than he's hitting. Pacquiao is landing more clean shots. Boy, Manny looks really informed tonight, doesn't he? Up in the toes, bouncing in and out, back and forth, side to side. Captured that jab in his gloves.
He said he was going to be more aggressive, and he's definitely been aggressive here in the 1st round.
Marquez also said he was going to be more aggressive, and he really hasn't been. Manny dictating the flow early.
He's a natural counterpuncher, and that's what he does best. So if Manny comes at him most of the night, that bodes well for Marquez, because his counterpunching style will let him get off a little bit more as if he's the one that's pressing.
You got to remember, too, he's 39 years of age. Both of these men have been in wars over their career, so both of them would be a little bit older than their chronological age. in terms of their ring age. Hey! That's a Pacquiao round in the way I see it. Pacquiao, Marquez 4. Manny started out the best of the two in the first round. Here we go with round number 2. Remember, as Jaime told you, Marquez is a counterpuncher, and that's what he does best. And that's, you know, because he's a counterpuncher is probably why a lot of judges don't give him the full credit that he should. Counterpunchers don't get as much credit as the guy that's the more aggressive. And that's been the only difference in all 3 of these fights, besides the knockdowns.
Active aggressiveness, one of the criteria when you judge a fight.
And ring generalship. It seems like Manny's controlling the ring generalship. When they engage, he engages. Marquez has got to get off first a few times here now. At that nice jab. It looks like he has a longer jab, but he doesn't. The jabs are, or their arms are both 6 to 7 inches. Their wingspan, I should say.
Let's see if he's able to do what Nacho Beristain told him. Left hook followed by the right uppercut.
Well, Manny can be hit by the uppercut, but Manny delivers an uppercut and then a left hook of his own. In his case, it's a left power shot because he's a southpaw fighter. Straight left hand down the middle, the way you fight the right-handed guy. There was a left hook and then back upstairs by Marquez. They're into it now.
But so far, it's been Manny, the one that's been taking the lead here in the first and second round. And he looks much quicker than Marquez so far.
Much quicker. Another good left hand by Manny getting through. So far, Marquez really hasn't done much. He was tagged pretty good by that shot by Manny Pacquiao.
And one of those left hands, you know, in the first and second fight were the ones that sent him to the canvas.
I know it's early, but I got to tell you something. I don't think the weight suits Marquez. I really don't. He doesn't look really crisp to me. I know he's in great shape, but I also know he's 39.
Well, one of the things we knew, he was not going to get any quicker, especially bulking up and, you know, being a year older. That definitely doesn't help.
He doesn't look to me as crisp as he did in any of the early rounds, even though he got knocked down in the first round of the first fight. But after that, I mean, he was totally, in my opinion, dominant for most of the rest of the fight. Then he get dropped in the third round in the second fight, but he still looked more crisp than he does right now to me. Well, that left hand will tell you something about crispness. And that's what they want, the left hook and right uppercut. Reaching that time was Juan Manuel. Manny very quick on his feet, gets out of the way when this guy assaults him. Gets off first again, and first again does Manny Pacquiao. The bell ends round 2. That's a Pacquiao round. Here we go to round 3. MGM Grand Garden Arena. Judges Adelaide Bird, Steve Weisfeld from New Jersey, and John Keane from the UK. I started to tell you, as we settle into the fight, there was a lot of controversy about who would judge this fight. Only one Nevada judge, and that's Adelaide Bird. And none of the previous judges from Nevada were allowed to judge this fight. Todd DeBuff, the president of Top Rank Boxing, decided he wanted the judges to get together and explain exactly to each other how they're going to score this fight, which they did today. Ordinarily, judges don't get together and talk before the fights at all.
One of the things Manny worked on a lot at the Wild Card Gym with Freddie Roach was moving to his right to stay away from Marquez's right hand. Thus far, he's moving completely in the opposite direction. He's circling to the left, and he's allowing Marquez to time him for that right hand.
But you know, you've heard Freddie say in previous fights, you know, we trained for this, we did this, and then he went back to doing what he wants to do. Fighters, once the bell sounds, they kind of do what they want to do. And he's fighting the way he always does fight. Let's see if at any time does he trying to move a little bit to the right. A little bit better round for Marquez this time.
But he's still waiting a little too long to get off.
He is, Jaime. But the question to me is he waiting or can he get off? That's my question.
And that's a very good question, Bob. Because if he...
He drops Pacquiao for the first time in 4 fights. Manny is knocked down by an overhand right hand. There's the power of Juan Manuel Marquez for the first time. Manny Pacquiao hits the canvas in the trilogy of fights now into the 4th fight. So Pacquiao did get knocked down. That's what Marquez wanted. On his legs back.
This is the one thing everybody has been waiting to see, whether Marquez actually could hurt Manny Pacquiao. He did it just with a straight right hand. It was powerful, and it wasn't as if Manny just fell down. He literally dropped. It was a big, big right hand by Marquez. But what he hasn't done in the last few fights is go after Manny, and he's not doing it now either. He's reverting back to the counterpuncher.
Big left hook. He really needed to go after Manny when he hurt him, because he definitely hurt Manny. Manny's legs still look heavy. He's got big legs to begin with, but they look very heavy as he tries to run a little bit. And people are cheering Marquez, Marquez. We got us to fight this time, folks, as if we didn't the first 3 times. Look at these guys loading up shots. Here comes the bell in the 3rd round. Wow, how about that at the bell?
And there's that over right looping hand. It caught Manny straight, right on the right side of his face. Here it is again, right over Manny's left hand. And Manny seems stunned, surprised.
Oh, he had everything going with that, didn't he?
And you know what? Not only does this give confidence to Marquez, but Manny hasn't been rocked like that as far as I can remember.
I don't remember it ever. All right, we go to round 4. So much for what I thought that Marquez was lethargic. He might be a little bit slower, but he found a right spot for that right hand, which was the jaw of Manny Pacquiao. He took it and he did get it off.
You know what? I don't know if this has any bearing into what's going to happen later on or how they feel after the fight. But it's a small victory for Juan Manuel Marquez to know that he put Manny Pacquiao on the canvas. Whether he wins or not, that is a small victory for Marquez.
It's a small victory for him, but he wants a definitive victory. He wants to drop him again and again if he has to. But you know, you pointed out another thing, I mean, that after he knocked him down, he didn't assault him. He went back to counterpunching. And here they really, you know, this is scientific what they're doing right now. They're trying to figure each other out. Manny doesn't want to walk into that right hand, and you had just mentioned that he's not really able to avoid that big right hand. These are knockouts between rounds 3 and 6 for both fighters. 17 for Pacquiao, and Marquez has 10.
Well, this also may make Manny be a little bit more cautious and not as aggressive as he wanted to be. Because now that he's tasted Marquez's power, he might stay on the outside a little bit more.
Well, what I took in the first couple of rounds of being a bit lethargic, his shoulders are so much heavier and so much bigger that he definitely has added power. There's no question about that. And he's a great counterpuncher, so he doesn't have to be as crisp as a normal fighter would be because he's such a great counterpuncher.
Marquez is a very intelligent fighter as well. He's not going to commit mistakes that lead Manny to take advantage of something that might send Marquez to the canvas.
Nobody's winning this round, by the way. This is one of the real close rounds in the fight. And no matter how this goes, unless somebody's definitive in the last 49, 48 seconds of this round.
Well, I think that Marquez has landed a couple of good shots. He landed a really hard, stiff jab a minute ago that moved Manny.
There's Manny with a combination that steals rounds when you see a combination like that. But again, professional boxing is the hurt business. Those 3 heavy punches that Marquez landed, for me, would be enough to give him the round at this point with 20 seconds to go in round number 4.
I myself always ask myself to be redundant at the end of a round. which guy would I want to be at the end of that round? Right now, I think I may have wanted to be Marquez so far.
And I would too, as he walked into another right-handed Manny. Downstairs goes Marquez, and he landed a shot. Bruce McTavish told me, you know, with the religion, with the problem with the marital situation and the distraction of being a politician in the Philippines, that boxing was number 4. But it seems like when he trains, he puts all his concentration on boxing. So, you know, we thought that there were no more distractions. But, you know, the one thing again, and again, this fight is very, very close. So we're not talking about Manny losing this fight right now. Although I have Marquez slightly out in front by 1 point. We'll see how it unfolds. But there are people that think the distractions are still there.
That was a great left hand by Manny. And Marquez took it.
Boy, the crowd is really into it here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Marquez stiff with that jab, driving off the back foot. That's the right hand go. Actually, his punch. Oh, look at that! That's going to be scored as a knockdown. There was a light left hook, but it was enough to catch him off balance. So down goes Marquez. He'll take the standing 8 count. Not hurt at all. He was more off balance, but there was a left hook. So that negates what he did in a much more impressive way. Just a straight left hand. Back comes Marquez. That straight left hand by Manny caught him off balance, but look at Marquez battle back.
You know what? They said all week this was going to be a war. I had my doubts. I don't anymore.
Oh, no, I think you put that fear to rest. You can put that to rest, I mean. Pacquiao tries to come in. Marquez trying to salvage this round now for himself. If he can win the round, he can have the round with him after being down. Manny filled with confidence again. That's one thing. Even though it was, straight right hand by Pacquiao. Marquez able to gobble out of. Here's Pacquiao trying to drop him again.
I think Marquez is hurt.
He may be. There's a shot. He is. He doesn't hang on. He fires back. Pacquiao is going to the finish right now. Marquez will have no part of it as he loads up shots himself. What a round of boxing this is. How about this, folks? Back and forth they go. Manny landing most of the shots. How about that round of boxing? Here comes the bell. It's all over in the 5th round.
And Marquez is all busted up. Marquez is busted on the bridge of his nose, and I think over the left eye as well.
Hey! Juan, how you feeling? The pain, man. The pain goes.
And here's a replay of the knockdown. First, the jab, and then he sort of steps on his foot, but at the same time, he connects with that straight left hand, and then Marquez goes down. I think it was a little bit of a combination of the punch and also that he lost his balance. But after that, Pacquiao absolutely took over that round, and he busted up Marquez.
Yeah, he sort of was up against that outstretched foot of Manny, and so he tumbled over that. At the same time, he got punched and he was off balance. But after that, as you said, is when the damage was done, because Manny busted him up with a cut across the bridge of the nose, and I think there's another cut as well.
And his nose may be busted because Marquez is breathing through his mouth right now, and it's only the 6th round.
Boy, this is something else. Well, we thank the world for Bob Arum to put this one back together, because this is a sensational fight to this point. And we're not even halfway through the fight, unless it's a knockout.
And see, he's bleeding
nose,
profusely through the nose, so I think that nose is definitely busted.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. And you can see the mouth hanging down, which is very dangerous to get hit in the jaw. Now, the big surprise was Pacquiao was down in the third. Then he was able to knock Marquez down ever so lightly in the last round. But then he busted him up in the remaining part of the fifth round. And back and forth they go here in the sixth. And Manny's really into this thing now. Hands high, straight left hand down the middle. Every time he puts that on the top of the nose, I'm wincing from the pain that he must be feeling with that broken nose. I mean, look at the dip in the bridge of the nose. It's broken. Right on top of it again. What makes fighters fighters? Man, this is something else. These guys are so tough.
Well, you've got to be a special person to be a fighter, that's for sure.
They're a breed unto themselves, honey. And with over 10,000 fights called, man, I really appreciate that. And this is why, folks. Nice left hand by Manny, and that's his power shot again. That was the left hand that dropped Marquez in the fifth round, the last round.
And all that punishment that Marquez took in the last round definitely took something out of Marquez, because he's not moving like he was in the previous 2 or 3 rounds.
No, you just take a look at the heels of the two fighters, and Marquez is down much more. He sort of stumbles back that time. That's an indication that the legs could be a little weak, and they've got to be. Goes to the right hand lead. And he skips past him. Man, he's got plenty of legs.
It doesn't seem like Marquez has his.
No, but look at the difference in the size of the legs when we have a wider shot. You see that Pacquiao's got huge calves and very narrow the calves of Marquez. That's where power comes from. And here they are back into a war again to end the sixth round. And Manny went down. He hit him with a body shot. I don't know if he can get up.
He hit him straight on the chin.
He got him on the chin. He's knocked out. Juan Manuel Marquez has done it. He's knocked out Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao is still out. You know if he's hurt. It was on the far side. He caught him on the chin and blasted him in the body at the very closing second of the sixth round. What an upset. Juan Manuel Marquez has done it. He's knocked out Manny Pacquiao. Everybody from Mexico is thrilled. People from the Philippines are in shock. Here we go. Straight right hand right on the button. Whoa. Straight right hand knocked him out cold. Manny coming in and he walks right into it. Marquez had his body half twisted and Manny got caught right on the chin. Boom, right there. Perfect position was Marquez to land that shot. Manny knocked out cold. His eyes are shut right there. I saw a little punch with the left hand that I thought went to the body at the end, but it was already over at that stage. Here's the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, this fight comes to an end at 2 minutes, 59 seconds of round number 5. The winner by knockout victory, damas y caballeros, de Ciudad de Mexico, Juan Manuel Dinamita